Hi, and welcome to a completely different video. I'm going to teach you, myself, yes, Say, is going to teach you how to drive Australia. Melbourne street track. First of all, you take turn 1 at gear 5. You know, I haven't done a video like this, and it's probably going to be terrible, and you're probably going to learn nothing from it, but here I go. Heading down towards turn 3, tight hairpin. You want to go shift down all the way to 3rd gear and get as close to that apex as possible, and be careful on throttle, and then shift up to 4th gear for this left-hander. Take as much of the track as possible, shift up to 5th, and then 6th for this fast right-hander. Try to avoid that curve if possible, and try to take as much runoff as you can, I guess. And then 7th gear, you're going to shift down anyways to 6th for this right-left, trying to not invalidate on that left-hander, and then onto the back straight where you're going to be going flat out and towards the fast chicane. So yeah, this is going to be a terrible tutorial, but like, I'm going to try my best. Hopefully you learn something from it, and if you don't, then yeah, my fault, bro. I don't know. Into the chicane, actually shift down to 6, hit the apex, and then we're just going to try to take as much as that inner curve and try to take as much out of the curve as possible to then shift up to 7th gear. I don't think you have to shift up to 8th, but you can. But you're going to shift down anyways down to 3rd before you got to turn in for this 90-degree right-hander, taking as much curve as possible onto 4th, 5th, and 6th if you can, but you're going to shift down to 5th anyways, preferably. And then onto this tight left-hander again, shifting down to 3rd gear, and taking a nice line and shifting up to 4th, not full throttle yet, and 5th, and then you could go full throttle now. And then that's basically a slow lap of Australia. And then now I'm going to show you a fast lap around Australia in just a sec. So now, heading full speed ahead, we're going to be heading into turn 1 at the normal pace of an F1 car. Down to 5th gear, take as much curve, taking as much out of curve, and then don't really hit that much curve on exit, and shifting up to 8th gear, and shifting down quickly down to 3rd gear, and then slowly apply the throttle onto 4th gear, taking a little bit of that curve, taking as much outer curve, heading towards 6th, and taking as much curve. You shouldn't really take in that inner curve though, but that outer curve preferably. 6th gear, on the limit. I can't even explain this as fast as the car is going. And then we're already on the back straight, taking a tight line and staying on the racing line, taking double tight lines to minimize the track distance. Onto the chicane 6th gear, and then cut the track a bit, and then get the exit real nice, and 7th gear, 8th gear. You do have to use 8th gear, apologies. Onto 3rd gear, a little bit of snap there, but you should short shift up, short shift down to 5th, and up to 6th again, and then short shift down to 3rd, and then 4th, and still like 75% throttle up to 5th gear, and then that's a fast lap around Australia. It's a 117.1. It's a solid little lap, 3/10 off my personal best, but you know, it is what it is. So, common mistake around this track is turn 1. This track's a danger zone. Turn 1, getting too much curve and spinning the car, or also getting on the throttle way easier or way earlier than you should. Apologies. Causes you to spin very easily into turn 1. There's also just taking too much speed and invalidating on the outer curve. And in turn 3, you could just spin, just getting on the power too early, as well as shifting down too much as well. That causes an issue. There's also the problem of taking a terrible line and also invalidating through turn 6, taking too much curve, and also just taking too much curve as exit as well here on the fast right-hander. As for the chicane, you could either mess up by taking too much curve or grabbing the curve wrong. You could also mess up by going too wide on exit As for the 90-degree turn, you could get on the grass and absolutely bin it, which is not ideal to brake. You want to stay on the racing track as much as possible because it does turn right for some reason. As for this fast right-hander, you could carry too much speed. You could also get on the curb wrong and spin the car, which is not ideal. You want to try to stay on that racing line as much as possible. As for this tight left-hander, shifting down to second gear is the biggest mistake you'll ever do, causing an instant spin. You could also go deep by not braking at the right time or locking up, which will cost you a bunch of time. As for the final corner guide, you know the drill of this final corner. It's just a pain to get right. Usually causes a spin into that inner wall, the outer wall, and you can also just go wide, just not pay attention into the final corner. And again, I'm showing you the fast lap, but yeah, this is a small little tutorial I wanted to make because I don't know, it felt like it. But this is a little rundown of Australia. It is a very tricky track, but if you put enough patience on the throttle and enough track width and track abuse, you could become fast on it. It's definitely not one of the hardest tracks in the game. It's not terrible. I enjoy it. You could do pretty well on it if you know what you're doing, if you know how to abuse the track limits and keep the car on track, you'll do pretty well. Of course, you need to know the right gears to use through the corners and stay on the track. Obviously, this was made with no TC and just the line only. Actually, no, ABS was on here, but ABS is a whole different ball game. Just do, if you have ABS off, then just do what you do on regular tracks. This left-hander is a very pain in the ass to get right. I know that, but you guys got this. You got it. You got it. You guys are professional, probably. But yeah, here's this awful tutorial that barely helped, and if it did help, yeah, I sure hope it helped. But yeah, see ya. Cut.